On the seventh day of Christmas, Foundations gave to me an incredible but true story.
Greg sat in his truck waiting for the Foundations for Living Warming Center to open. The snow piling on his windshield only added to his quiet confusion. How did I end up here? I'm not like those people. Homeless people don't work. They smell, they take drugs, or are alcoholics. I'm not any of those things. Greg had a great job. Actually, the best job he had had in his adult life. Until yesterday, he was living in the house he had purchased with his girlfriend 5 years before. He had gotten into some trouble when he was a teen, but now, for the past 20 years, his record was clean. I guess I was just too trusting, too caught up in my own world to notice the changes. I never dreamt that Kim would do something like this to me. She's better at finances than I am, so I always gave her my check. Nothing seemed different. How had I missed that she was not the person I thought she was? When Greg came home from work, all his things were on the front porch. The note said, "Don't try and come in. I've changed the locks. I know you thought the house was in both of our names, but I put it in mine alone. Your bank account has been closed, and all the money is now in my private account. If you try to fight this, it's your word against mine, and everyone believes the poor woman. The credit card is in your name, so all the credit card debt is my gift to you. The car is mine. The truck and the truck payments are yours. Good luck. Don't try to contact me. I've filed a restraining order." Still sitting in his car, Greg's mind was spinning. She had spent his last paycheck, and now he barely had enough gas to make it to work until his next check. How could she be so evil? He had never done anything to hurt her as far as he knew. When had she concocted her evil plan? It must have started when they bought the house, or else his name would have been on the deed. He always assumed it was. He remembered signing papers at the time, but never looked that close. How could she have kept this from him for so long? He felt like he would never trust anyone again. Okay, Greg thought to himself, be a man and just walk in. He knew he didn't have a choice with no family nearby. His only friends in the area were her friends, and they would never believe him. He had no money, no food, nowhere to spend the nights that were now too cold to stay in his truck. When he finally entered, the hosts were very kind. There were a lot of rules, but at least he would have a warm place to sleep tonight until he could think of a better plan. The next days seemed easier as he went to work as usual and checked back into the center to sleep at night. He was hoping to only have to stay a week, but finding an affordable apartment took longer than he expected. With the help of the Foundations for Living, he was able to find a temporary room to rent until he found an apartment of his own. Things didn't improve as quickly as he had hoped, but little by little his new life began. By the weekend, he had met most of the other guys, and he was surprised that none of them seemed to be what he had always thought of as homeless people. In fact, to his surprise, he liked most of them. The few that seemed to be down and out didn't last long because they refused to follow the rules. But the rest of the guys amazed him by their stories. One girl had a nervous breakdown, not being able to handle the constant anxiety of living in the middle of a pandemic. Another had struggled from years as an alcoholic, but was trying to get into a long-term rehab. One had just found a job after serving a number of months in jail. Another story was similar to his own, except this guy's girlfriend asked him to leave in a nicer way than Cindy had. Each story was different, but in some ways the same. Families and friends couldn't help due to the distance, personal hardship, or estrangement. Addictions had robbed some of their last dollar, drugs, alcohol, or gambling. Others, in spite of having a job, didn't make enough to rent an apartment at today's high prices. One thing they all had in common was a desire for a fresh start and a better life. Joe thought to himself, "Thank you, Foundations for Living, for giving us all another chance."